Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal. It's match preview time. Obviously, a lot of has been going on with the Eze stuff and the transfer news, but important to not forget that we actually have a game this weekend and we are playing against Leeds United on my birthday as well, so we cannot lose this game. That they've already given me a birthday present with the as a deal that has already made my week. But this game, you have to win this game. We have to win this game. Last week, good win against Man United. Everyone said it wasn't the best of performances. I agree, but at Old Trafford, first game of the season, I just needed the 3 points. Now for this game, it's a little bit different. Last week against Man United, we were only able to create one big chance. In this one, we cannot only create one big chance against Leeds at home. Now, in terms of the teams and all that, we'll do the lineup later on. But there was part of me that was thinking, we're going to have like so many players available. You're going to have Havertz, Gyökeres, all these guys. I was thinking about playing both of them in my team at the same time, but unfortunately, Havertz has now picked up an injury, and Ben White came off last week against Man United as well. And Noga did not train in the open. He was not seen in the open training at the Emirates on it was Wednesday, so we might still be missing a few players. But when you miss a few players, it is an opportunity for other players. Maybe Gyökeres gets more minutes on the pitch. Maybe a Trossard gets some game time up front. Maybe get some game time on the left. Can we see, or will we see Madueke starting in this game? How long will Zubimendi play defensively? Will we make any changes? Obviously, if Ben White is out, is Timber going to come in for him? Are we even going to play Mosquera at right back? There's a lot of things that are very fascinating. Now, Leeds United. Let's start with Leeds United. Now, I watched them on Monday against Everton. I think they played really well. There's two players over there that really impressed me. Tanaka is a very, very good playing midfield. I really like Tanaka in that midfield, and I've been watching him since last season in the championship. I had him in my championship fantasy team a couple of times. Very good player. Now, this season, and Nonto as well has been very good since in the Premier League before, and this season against Everton in the first game, he looked quite sharp as well. And they still have other good players like Pereira up front and Strauk defensively. They got a new goalkeeper. It's no longer Melies. So Leeds do have a team. They won their first game. They said this season very well. And listen, I'd not be surprised if I expect Leeds and Sunderland and those teams to pick up more points than the previously promoted teams. So Leeds is a team that can cause an upset if you're not careful. They do have good forward players like Nonto on the wings who can do something. Daniel James, another one on the right wing. But with that said, though, this is a game you'd expect to win. The first home game of the season. Gyökeres' first game at Arsenal at the Emirates in the Premier League, and a lot of other debutants like Zubimendi and Madueke, and we could be unveiling Eze in this game just before we play this game. Who knows? Maybe even Eze could feature in this game off the bench because he's not going to play in the Thursday game for Crystal Palace. If he gets his medical done early on Friday, he might even make the bench in this game because by the time we play this game, it's going to be 1 week since Eze played. But obviously, he wouldn't have trained with the team at all. But you never know. But going into this game, very excited. Now the fans are definitely very excited with that Eze news. If you're coming into this game with just the Havertz news and the sad injury news, I think the mood would have been down. But now, since we've gotten the Eze deal through the line and hoping for good news on Havertz, and everyone is looking forward to the Gyökeres debut. When is he going to get his first goal? All of that. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for this game. But obviously, we need to be very good. There's a couple of things we did good against Man United, but there's a couple of things obviously that yes, we got the win. I'm very happy, but there's obviously a couple of things you need to check and sort out when you come to the second game. For example, Cunha and Buemo, in terms of transitions, they got a few chances last week against us. They went through 2 or 3 times quite easily. If it wasn't for Raya, we would have considered a few goals. So can we make that better? We obviously need another good game from Raya if he's going to have to make, a couple of saves. You expect a better game from the first half from Saliba and Gabriel. Whoever's playing at fullback, expect a better game. And there's a lot of players who didn't play well last week. Rice did not play well. We expect more. Zubimendi did not play well, especially in the first half. We expect more. In the second half, he was okay. Gyökeres was quiet. We need more this time around. Saka was very quiet. We need more. Martinelli was very quiet. If he starts, we need more. So there was only like 4 players who played well last week, including Raya and Calafiori. So will Calafiori start again? Is he able to start back-to-back games? Because now with Eze coming in and us also playing Trossard on the left side now after he signed a new contract, those are players who drift in. So you're going to need someone to overlap. So will Lewis Kelly learn that? We've had that Hines has been going one-on-one with him on that side, teaching him, overlapping and the crossing and all that, because he's been coming more into midfield, and Lewis Kelly is a midfielder anyway. So, very interested to see all of those things. But I'm hoping we can create more chances, Let's not give Gyökeres one chance the whole game. No, these are the kind of matches where you find Haaland and Salah having 6 or 7 shots every time. If you watch Haaland against Burnley or you look at Salah game against Leeds, you'll find those players have 6 or 7 shots. Let's make sure we are creating a lot of chances for Gyökeres. Let's have Saka more in the game. Let's have Odegaard more in the game, creating more chances. Let's defend well. Let's try and keep back-to-back clean sheets. I'm sure last time we started with back-to-back clean sheets against Wolves and Aston Villa. Let's do the same this time round. I'm hoping everything goes well, but most importantly, let's create enough chances for the forward players. Let's, can we get an early win? Last season, that's something we struggled a lot, literally almost every single game apart from 3 or 4. By the 60th minute, we didn't know how it was going to go. It was either we were leading 1-0, will we concede? It was a 0-0, or we were trailing. Like last season, there's very few games that we went to the 60th minute knowing that we've already won, like a PSV away, like a Man City at home. Even Man City at home, I think it was like 2-1 at that point. Like so many games last season, we weren't sure whether we are going to win. So I think Leeds will be a hard test. I don't think it's going to be like a 5-6-0 game. I wish it is, but I don't think it's going to be that kind of game. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if they scored a goal. They do have some good players in that team, but let's hope we can pick up the 3 points, especially heading into the Liverpool game. That is very crucial. I mean, before the Man United game, you could have thought, hey, if we don't pick up this win against Man United, if we draw at Man United and then, Liverpool win their first 2 games, you're going into that game against Liverpool already behind them, 2 points behind them, 3 points behind them, 3 points behind Man City as well. And all of a sudden you have to go there and pick up a result against Liverpool. That is pressure right away. If you lose this game, it's 6 points ahead of you already after 3 games. That would be a definite mess. So now going there, we might be ahead of them. If we beat Leeds and they don't beat Newcastle, we might be on the level on points with them, hopefully, because this is a game we would expect to win at home. Again, last season at home as well, we weren't that great too, especially at the end of the season, we were dropping so many points. And even the games that we won, 1-0 against Ipswich and such kind of results, we were struggling in a lot of the games. And at the end of the season, we started losing and drawing to Bournemouth, to Brentford, we drew with Everton as well. So this time around, I'm hoping we can have a good home record starting with this game against Leeds. So which kind of lineup would I go for in this one? If I was the manager, which lineup would I go for? So this is what I'd go for. As I said, I was thinking about Havertz up front together with Gyökeres, front 2. I have both of them on the pitch at the same time. But now things have changed, obviously. So in goal, obviously, it's David Raya. Fantastic game last week, man of the match last week. So in this one, we are hoping Raya is not the man of the match in this game. Obviously, we don't want Raya to be the man of the match in a game at home against newly promoted Leeds. That's when you want the forward players to have that. So defensively, I'm going to keep it the same. Gabriel and Saliba at centre back. Now, full back last week, we saw Arsenal bringing in Timber and Lewis Kelly for Ben White and Calafiori. We have those options. We're waiting to see whether White is going to be fit. But for this one, this is what I'm going to go for. I'm going to stick with Calafiori at left back and then Timber at right back. So Lewis Kelly can always come on. Obviously, Calafiori played really well last week, so I'm going to leave him there as well. And then he's going to overlap if Trossard is the one who's going to start on the left side. Now, if you start with Martinelli, I've probably just given away who my left winger is there. If you starting with Martinelli, then I don't mind, Lewis Kelly, because Martinelli can come back defend. If Martinelli starts, he needs a big game. If Lewis Kelly starts, obviously also needs a big game. And Calafiori, obviously, we need to also protect him. We can't play him every single day, 90 minutes. But that is what my defense looks like. Now, in midfield, I did think about, playing with one defensive midfielder, give an opportunity to Nwaneri to start next to Odegaard, have 2 of them. I even thought about Havertz and Gyökeres, but I've decided to keep it the same. I was also thinking, of resting maybe a Rice because we have Liverpool next week. But I'm going to keep it like this. I'm going to keep Zubimendi. Now, the difference from last week is instead of having Zubimendi and Declan Rice as a double pivot, you push Rice a little bit forward to play next to Odegaard. And then if Rice, if we still need goals in the second half, or even if we don't need goals, just need to give opportunities to players like Nwaneri, you can bring him on. You don't need a double pivot in this kind of game. Although Leeds is a better attacking team than the other promoted teams we've seen over the years. But I'm going to stick with Zubimendi and Rice and Odegaard, because you also need Zubimendi and Rice and Odegaard, get that relationship going and keep on playing well with each other, know each other's games and all that. But let's see. Very interested to see what Arteta does. I was really thinking about having both Odegaard and Nwaneri in terms of creativity, because when Eze finally joins us, that is probably what you're going to be seeing in games like this, as an Odegaard together, which means either Zubimendi or Rice will be missing out in midfield. And then up front, who am I going to go for up front? I'm going to make one change. I am going to bring in Trossard. So last week it was looking like Trossard was going to leave, but now that he signed a new contract, he's going to be part of the team. After Eze joins, you're going to wait and see whether Trossard is going to be a backup for Gyökeres. But because Martinelli's form has been quite low, maybe this could be a good game for Martinelli to, get himself going once again. But I'm going to go with Trossard on the left, Saka on the right, and Gyökeres once again up front. That is the squad I'm going for, the lineup that I'm going for. I think that is good enough. Apologies, still a little bit under the weather, but that's the lineup I'm going for. And then on the bench, we actually do have a good bench, very, very good bench. Kepa, Lewis Kelly, Mosquera, Kivio, all those can come in as defensive reinforcements if need be. Also can come on. I mean, you'd expect Lewis Kelly to come on for Calafiori. I don't know if Timber can play 90. I mean, I'd prefer him to be fit for the Liverpool game next week, so I wouldn't mind to see Mosquera coming on. Kivio, there's still transfer rumors, so if Kivio is not there, we probably will have Max Daumann on the bench. And then Nogard, he didn't train on Wednesdays, so not 100% sure if he's going to make it for this game. And then Merino, Madueke, Martinelli, Nwaneri. So a lot of attacking subs that can come on. Remember, we'll also add Eze to that. So Daumann can also be on the bench, either for Nogard if he's not fit, or for Kivio if there's still those transfer rumors. But I think the lineup should be good enough, man. This is the first time in a long time that we actually have players that can come off the bench that we expect to make an impact. Now, will Arteta go for that? Do I expect Arteta to go for this? Defensively, maybe. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Lewis Kelly started. Midfield, I think he'll go for that. And then up front, I mean, I think Martinelli might still start ahead of Trossard, but personally, I'm going to go for Trossard in this game. And then after Eze comes in, we will see what happens with the rest of the team. But a lot of competition for sure. So my prediction for the game, I am going to go for, I think they might, I'm going to go for 3-1, but because Gabriel Saliba and Ryan, those guys, man, usually sometimes starts with 2-3 clean sheets in a row. Maybe a late goal. Let's go Arsenal 3, Leeds 0. I wanted to give them the goal. I was also thinking 2-0. I think it might be 2-0 heading into the 88th minute or something, but I'm going to go for a 3-0 win, but I'll not be surprised if Leeds score. But 3-0 to Arsenal. It's not going to be a smash or anything in this game. No, I'm just going to go for a 3-0. Gyökeres to open his Arsenal account. Hopefully Saka can get on the score sheet as well. And I mean, Everton did have 1 or 2 corners against Leeds on Monday. That is where the better chances came from. So let us go for another corner. Why not? Let's go with Gabriel to score. Why not? Gabriel, Saka, and Gyökeres. 3-0 to Arsenal. I'd not be surprised if Leeds scored, though, but I'm going to be confident with the defense and go for a 3-0. Arsenal, hopefully, don't give them as much space as we did to Man United last week. Let me know your prediction. Let me know your certain lineup which changes you'd make. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.